What's going on, guys? It's Professor Gnome, and today we're going to be looking at, not Lost Vacuum, we're going to be taking a look at Ting-Lu EX and the Cursed Land ability. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's Pokemon in play that have any damage counters on them have no abilities except for EX Pokemon. The reason why Ting-Lu is really picking up in popularity right now is that it has a really great matchup into Dialga, which is becoming much more popular, and also Chien, which is also an extremely popular deck because of its favorable Charizard matchup. And Ting-Lu just bodies both of those decks extremely hard because it shuts off the Metang and the Baxcaliburs, in which those two decks absolutely need in order to even remotely function. It also got a lot of other buffs that went kind of under the radar. So Heavy Baton is super impactful for this deck. One of Ting-Lu's weaknesses is that it just kind of takes too long to power up. Heavy Baton is going to allow us to always be passing those energies around and making sure that that's not really an issue. And also Hero's Cape, making us far more tanky and hard to remove, is super good. And then we're going to utilize Devolution in order to make sure that we're shoring up that Charizard matchup a little bit more. We also run Penny in order to pick up our Ting-Lus that are ever injured, so that way we can, deny some prize cards. And the only other key cards that I want to focus on here is that we also run Grant in order to help boost our damage a little bit, get over certain damage thresholds. And we also run Judge just to be as disruptive as possible. No abilities, no cards, makes it so our opponent can't really do anything, and it puts us in a really strong position. But yeah, that's the list, guys. Definitely let me know what you think. And be sure to let me know what else you want to see in the comment section down below. There's a couple other decks that I'm working on, like an updated Gengar list, so be sure to let me know if that's something that you want to see. Since I'm already making that, I can kind of make that a even heavier priority. And yeah, also for the last little announcements before we get into Game 1, I'm still waiting on Limitless. I talked about this in my last video. I'm still waiting on Limitless to get back to us, so that way we can get the tournament organized for the our first community tournament and for the Discord. I've reached out. I haven't heard anything back. My request is still pending. So if anybody knows the best way to go about getting that resolved, definitely let me know. Or if there's another way to orchestrate it and organize it in a better fashion, definitely let me know so that way I can get that started, and we can get these tournaments undergoing, because I'd really love to be able to host that for you guys. Lastly, as I mentioned, the community Discord is open, so anybody who wants to come into it, please feel free to join. Typically it's I look for games on there and we just exchange deck lists, stuff like that, so feel free to join. It's a fun little community we have going. But yeah, alright, I will see you guys in Game 1 now that I'm done all the announcements. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of YouTube-y stuff, and I will see you guys in Game 1. Peace. Alright, we're in a game number 1. Our opponent's going to be going first. Or, sorry, we're going to be going first. Ting-Lu EX into the active is pretty good. Opening Gapejaw Bog is pretty huge. This might be massive for us, actually. We're going to go ahead and Nest Ball, grab ourselves the Rotom. Then what we can do is manually attach the energy, place down, yeah, kind of going to double this here, and then we'll instant charge. The reason why, so we're probably up against control, right? Like, more than likely, seeing the Pidgeot V. And so whenever they play a basic from their hand, they're going to take 2 damage counters. The damage isn't really what's important. What is important is that they will have to, their Snorlax block won't have its ability because of Ting-Lu. Mimikyu won't have its ability yet. Alright, they can Nest Ball it out, and that will make it have its ability for now, but we can always get past that, so I'm not really super worried about that. But having the Gapejaw in general is kind of a big deal. It's going to make it so they're going to need to Nest Ball everything out. And that's going to work out for us in our favor anyway. We can also Arven here. And okay, so they got it out where they used their V-Star to find a Nest Ball, which is still fine for us because we can Hawlucha to put the pieces that put the pieces down that we need. So for now, we will go ahead and Mew EX. We can Arven here. We'll take that, and we'll take the Seal Stone. We will not need the Devolution, so we can get rid of those. We'll take double energy. We will attach the Seal Stone. And then from here, what we'll do is we can instant charge. Perfect. So there's our boss's orders. Why this is going to matter is that what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to attach the energy onto Ting-Lu EX, so we're able to attack. We can boss his orders. We lost a Switch Cart, not the biggest deal. Yeah, so this game's pretty much over. So here's what we're going to be able to do. We're going to be able to boss up the Snorlax, manually attach the energy. We'll be able to knock out the Snorlax. And then what our attack does with Land Scoop is that we're going to put damage down onto the Mimikyu. And now that there's damage onto the Mimikyu, it means it doesn't have an ability. So we're going to be able to attack in and just KO it. And the Eerie doesn't make a difference here. So we can just Land Scoop. Done. And that's why Ting-Lu with Gapejaw is fantastic into stall as well. Since if they can't clear the Gapejaw, they can't play the game. Even if they go and like they're doing like, because they can't Snorlax block you, so it does. Sorry about that. Because they can't Snorlax block you, it doesn't really matter if they start like counter catchering you, provided that you have limited things on the board. So like right there, it doesn't matter. Like if they counter catch me into Mew, it's free retreat, so I can just go back. Or if I go into, let's say, if they pull up my Rotom, it doesn't really matter because I can either penny it back up, or what I also have the option of doing is just attaching a single energy to retreat it, because of the fact that, what's it called? Because of the fact that it's a single retreat Pokemon, it's like very easy to get out of the active, and I can retreat it because Snorlax can't block me because it has, it'll have damage counters as long as I can like just pick up the penny and get back into Ting-Lu, yeah, I can get back into Ting-Lu. So the stall actually is like not that hard of a matchup. It can be a little bit annoying because Ting-Lu has to be in the active to like shut everything off. But it means you can never really get Mimikyu walled or whatever. Like you just put Ting-Lu into the active, you sit it there, and there's not really much they can do once you like get your pennies on board and things like that. So the best thing you can do is just kind of penny around it, and Ting-Lu shuts everything else off, so you never have to worry about like Mimikyu or anything like that. So it's really, really strong. Anyway, we'll get into game 2 in a second. Sorry for rambling. I'll see you guys in game 2. Peace. Alright, we're into game number 2. Our opponent won the coin flip and has chosen for us to go first. We're going to end up mulliganing this hand away, which is probably for the best. Had we had to go first with it, we probably wouldn't have gotten very far. Our opponent plays most things down already, so we probably won't get the most value out of Bog. We do get our Rotom open. That's pretty good. Oh, that's cool. That's actually kind of nice for us. We don't have our sealed stone or any of our bosses, so that's massive to not have. Like that really, really, really sucks. We can instant charge here though. We get ourselves a Nest Ball, which is okay. The Judge is important, but honestly, what the biggest thing here is going to be is making sure that we're getting damage onto the Brutal Bonnet and the Sneaslers. Less of the Sneaslers and more like obviously the Brutal Bonnets, because it's going to make it so they can't even attack or do anything. The Iono's totally fine with us. We're really only looking for not any of that, but whatever. Double Turbo. There's an Ultra Ball for the Brutal Bonnet. That means they probably already have the Ink Booster. There it is. $170. So we will live this one turn. What we'll probably have to do is Switch Cart. There's Greninja, which is kind of nice for us, potentially. We'll go ahead and grab ourselves one more Ting-Lu here. And we'll grab ourselves the Mew. Yeah, we'll grab ourselves Mew. And then what we'll probably do here is we'll Switch Cart, go into the Mew, heal ourselves slightly, place the energy down, we'll restart. There's our Arven. Arven's pretty good in this situation, since what we'll be able to do is grab ourselves an Ultra Ball and a Heavy Baton. We can Ultra Ball with the Penny and the Counter Catcher to grab ourselves Hawlucha. We can place the Hawlucha down. We'll Flying Entry. We'll place that on the Brutal Bonnet, turning that off. And we can place it on the Sneasler to turn that off as well. Then what we can do is throw the Heavy Baton down onto Ting-Lu. And we'll retreat into the Hawlucha, since that has kind of lost all its value at this point. We'll be able to let this get knocked out and kind of go from there. We probably so yeah, I forgot this is only attacks. We could have placed it onto the Bidoof. That's totally fine with us. It's going to get us like a whole new hand. We could have placed it onto the Bidoof and turned that off, but we're going to be able to turn off the barrel with like any attack anyway, so it's not actually that big a deal that we didn't get that to work. There's the Industrial Incisors. That's the last turn they're going to be able to do that. And from here, we're pretty much set up. You can switch into that. Again, doesn't really matter. We're kind of sacking Hawlucha here. And then what we can do is we can go Ting-Lu. It already has the Heavy Baton attached to it. We can place the last energy we need onto that. None of this really has too much relevance to us anymore. We can go ahead and get sealed cards. There's the Arven. What we'll do, actually, is that we'll Arven here to grab ourselves the Super Rod and the Hero's Cape. The reason for that is that way what we can do is we can Hero's Cape here. We can Super Rod back in the Hawlucha and the energy. And then that means that we'll have Hawlucha for the future, so whatever else they want to put down, whether it be another Brutal Bonnet, whatever, in the future, we can just go ahead, pull that right back out, and shut off their other Brutal Bonnets. So we can go ahead and disable their Barrel. Draw ourselves another card. We got another Heavy Baton. Not that that's going to really come up too much. But now with Tango in the active, there's pretty much nothing they can do to us. Unless, like I said, they can find themselves another Brutal Bonnet. But that's not going to be relevant. Because even if they attack us, they knock us out, we bring in the next one. Alright, that's a little annoying. Alright, I mean, we're gonna end up doing, like, the same play, but in this case, it's only a little bit more annoying, because we're going to grab our Hawlucha and turn this off as well. So, slightly annoying, but it is what it is. We can utilize, so we'll keep this in the active. What we'll be able to do is go ahead and Ultra Ball. We'll get rid of the Grant, and we'll get rid of the extra Ting-Lu. Grab ourselves Hawlucha. Then what we can do is place the Hawlucha down. Flying Entry. Place that onto that, and the final one doesn't really matter, so we'll just throw it there. Then what we'll be able to do is place the Koraidon down, Gapejaw, and then we can Judge. We'll be able to Dino Cry here. Throw 2 energies onto our Ting-Lu. And end the game. Well, end our turn, rather. Then what we'll probably end up doing on the following turn is retreating, like getting Arven, I believe. Do we still have Switch Cart? I don't know if we have another Switch Cart. Another Lost Vacuum. That's kind of annoying. The Gapejaw, though, is going to make it so, like, all we have to do is knock out this one Cloth, and then we're, like, pretty much fine to go. So all we're really looking for is, like, a single energy at this point. So we'll go ahead and Arven. We do have another Switch Cart, which is pretty nice for us. We have the Heavy Baton as well, not that that really matters at this point. We will Earthen Vessel. We can get rid of the Research. Grab ourselves 2 energies. Manually attach. And we can just go ahead and attack. We'll Land Scoop. We'll put the 20 damage onto the Barrel. Take another prize. And then really what we're going to look to do at this point is if we find Penny, then we'll pick up Hawlucha, make space. No way they run Cram. I mean, it doesn't really matter because they're going to get turned off anyway. But that's really funny that they run Cramorant here. They can't counter capture us, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, they're gonna concede. Yeah, with Ting-Lu in the active, there's nothing that they could do because they can't re-poison Cloth. So, like, even though we were at, like, a seemingly disadvantaged spot, we were actually totally fine because it took us time to get there, but we achieved all the win conditions that we needed. We got bogged down, so that way, had they played another... had they been able to play into, like, a 4th Brutal Bonnet or something, if they ran it, it was going to get the damage placed on it, so it wasn't going to work. The only way they could have won is by having to boss out our Ting-Lu, and I don't think that was an option for them because they couldn't draw or anything, so they would have had to, like, they needed to Iono there in order to get into anything, and obviously that means they can't boss. So yeah, pretty easy game 2, even though it looked stressful. It was, you know, we were slowly achieving our win conditions, so even from behind, Ting-Lu has the ability to kind of just still shut off your opponent and make a comeback. So yeah, that's game number 2, and I will see you guys in game number 3. Peace. Alright, we're into game number 3, and we are going first. We won the coin flip. We open a little awkwardly, but we'll see if we're able to kind of get either bailed out by... Ooh, perfect. This is actually the exact... Happy in game number 3, we get to the matchup I was kind of hoping for. We do get Koraidon here, which is a little nice. What we'll do is we'll go Koraidon, Ultra Ball, get rid of 2 energy, grab ourselves Mew. And here's why. We could grab ourselves Rotom, right? But that doesn't really matter since we're not going to be able to use its ability anyway, since we want to use Dino Cry here. And so what we can do is we can Dino Cry and have Ting-Lu powered up. We can pass our turn. Then on the following turn, what we can do is we can Arven, grab ourselves the Ultra Ball, and from there, pretty much the game will be over. Because all we're looking to do is turn off their Baxcaliburs. The Eerie doesn't matter. Yeah, I think they're going to FF immediately. Yeah, they're going to give up. The game is pretty much over. What we can do, so like I'll play it out anyway. We'll grab the Ultra Ball here, and then what we can do is grab the Heavy Baton. We'll place the Heavy Baton down. We'll go ahead and attack. We obviously won't use the Ultra Ball yet. But what it would be used for is that we can discard the Devolution, or we could hold on to it. It wouldn't really matter. And we could discard the Judge or the Arven, either one that we wanted. Grab the Hawlucha. So if they play the Frigibax down, then we would just KO. We would just put the damage counters on, so they'll never actually be able to utilize it. So it was never going to matter. Though, I mean, I think they bricked. I think that's pretty evident. Again, it wasn't really going to matter. So in this case, we can just go ahead and Nest Ball and grab ourselves Hero's Cape. We can go ahead and grab ourselves another Ting-Lu. Place that down. Go ahead and Land Scoop. Get the KO. Get the damage down onto Mew. And just kind of end the game. Again, like I said, they probably bricked a little bit. But with our setup, it really wasn't going to matter. Because they could go... Let's say, even hypothetically, right? They got the Buddy Puff in, or whatever. They went Frigibax, even a third Frigibax, and like Greninja. Wasn't really going to matter, because like I said, we were going to make the Hawlucha play, put the damage counters on the Frigibax, then we would be able to attack, put another set of damage counters. We're not worried about Greninja. The only thing that we're worried about is, like I said, putting the Frigibaxes down. So yeah, this matchup's really bad for them. I was kind of hoping they would play it out and not just kind of do this. This is a little bit less fun, but it kind of is what it is. Hopefully this kind of still shows the point. So like, let's say that was Chien-Pao. We'd put the damage counters down onto the Frigibax, make it so they can't play the game. Yeah. Hopefully this still shows. I don't think their Chien-Pao list is very good, based on what I've already seen. But not much can be done about it. Them bricking is kind of on them, or not on them, but I don't think they're making the best choices. Is the nicest way to put it. We'll go ahead. We'll Heavy Ball. Okay, cool. I think what we'll do here is we'll go ahead and Judge, just for the sake of it. Then what we can do is we'll play down one more Ting-Lu. We'll throw the energy down onto this one. We'll draw ourselves a card. And we'll attack. Mew will be able to genome hacking us on the next turn and knock us out. But it's not really that big of a deal. There's the Greninja. There's the Baxcalibur. Again, I don't think he realizes that it doesn't work. I'm kind of hoping that the Judge bails him out, so that way I can show what's supposed to happen. A little bit better than just kind of like steamrolling the game on turn one. But that's kind of like what happens in this matchup more often than not. So there's the Chien-Pao, Nest Ball, Palkia. Palkia is not great anymore. Yeah, I think this guy's list is just like super outdated and like a little weird. So like, ironically, Palkia is not bad in this matchup. Like, it can kind of work as like an accelerant. But yeah, the other thing too, so like I will say this, Ting-Lu got a lot better with the exclusion of Escape Rope being in the game. Because before, that was like Chien-Pao's biggest out to Ting-Lu, is like you would just Escape Rope, force it out, and go from there. But now that that's not really an option anymore, it's like pretty hard for them to play. We'll drop this down. We'll put the energy onto the Greninja to stop them from being able to draw. There's the Palkia V-Star. So they can accelerate energy if they really want to, but it's not going to do anything for them at this point in the game. So they can Silvery Chill, get some more energy. They can knock out this Ting-Lu if they want to, but again, it's not that big a deal. we will place all the energies down onto our stacked up Ting-Lu. We will bring the new one into the active. Then what we can do from this point is we can just remove that, get our energies with Earthen Vessel, place that down, and then we'll be able to land Scoop, knock this out, and then what we'll do is we'll just put the damage counters onto this, onto the Mew. The reason for that is that it's now just 20 hit points away from being KO'd. So even if something were to come into the active that we can't knock out in a single hit, like this Palkia, for example, doesn't really matter. Since we'll be able to, even if we couldn't knock out this Mew, it's not that big a deal because we'll win the, the back and forth attack trade situation going on here. But even more so, yeah, that's fine. Kind of a weird call, but it's not that big a deal because of the fact that, like I said, Mew, we only need one attack from Ting-Lu on literally anything, and we're gonna end up knocking out the we're gonna end up knocking out the Mew regardless. Genome hacking for wild impact. It did its best. It's actually kind of funny. His build is, like, objectively wrong, but it, like, kind of ended up helping him here a little bit. But, like, even still, didn't really matter. So there's our last prize card. We'll take that. End the game. Kind of a really weird Chien Pal build that, like, kind of bailed him out a little bit, but, like, not really. Definitely an interesting one is the nice way we'll put it. But yeah, that's going to be game 3, guys. Definitely let me know what you think. I like Ting-Lu a lot right now. I think it's really, really good. You can definitely run into some awkward matchups for sure. Running into things like what's it called? Espathra is a pretty hard matchup, but outside of that, most of your matchups aren't that bad, and the ones that you win, you absolutely dumpster. So definitely give the deck a try. It's a ton of fun. I really, really like it right now. I think it's in a pretty good place overall. And so yeah, definitely let me know what you want to see next on the channel. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Much appreciated. Peace.